Alright everyone, welcome to part 3 to Fate Stay Night's prologue. And yeah, this has been a pretty long prologue if anything, but I feel like it's gonna end in this part, if not maybe the next one over. But we just had Rin Tosaka finally summon Archer at long last, and the Grail War is about to begin soon. So if anything, I hope you all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for love and support. Let's do this.
リン、ズバリ言おう。君は優秀だが、それゆえに他人を過小評価する欠点がある。成人するまでには強制したまえ。
何気に失礼なこと言うわね、あんた。
Reform? That's like training bad habits out of a horse.
いや、失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけではない。単にイメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
なおさら悪いわ。
My right arm suddenly hurts.
リン。
ちょっと黙って、あーちゃん。
Like a command spell is engraved on my right hand is hurting. A spell warning as if to get my attention.
誰かに見られてる。
I extend my consciousness to the surroundings. I roll out the threads of my consciousness and search through the park.
私じゃ見つけられない。あーちゃん、あなたは？
難しいな。私には視線すら感じられん。
ってことは、見てるのはマスターね。
I don't know who it is, but if Archer can't sense it, it has to be a master. There aren't 7 of us yet, but if we wanted to, we could start the fight at any time. It seems the one watching us wants to battle, but...
霊樹は霊樹に反応する。マスターであるのなら、誰がマスターであるかは出会えば感じられるということか。だが、それならリンにも相手が識別できるのではないか。
ええ。けど高位の術者なら自分の魔力ぐらい隠し通せる。いくら霊樹同士が反応するって言っても、その霊樹だって魔力で発動するものよ。大元であるマスター自身が魔術回路を閉じていれば見つけることは難しいわ。
厄介だな。ではこちらはいいように位置を知らせているということか。
でしょうね。まあ私だって家探しすれば魔力殺しぐらいは見つかるだろうけど。
必要ないと？
そう。だって隠さなければ向こうからやってきてくれるでしょ。こっちから出向く手間が省けるわ。
Archer takes a deep breath and goes quiet as if he's shocked.
何よ、自信過剰はいけないって言いたいの？
I ask, remembering our previous conversation, but Archer just says, that's impossible.
君はそのままが一番強い。はあ？小物には付きまとわせてやるがよかろう。
He says, trying to hold back his laughter. Well, it's not like I like his response, but we decide to continue walking around town. We tour the important places, really dragging our observer around, have dinner along the way, and bring things to a conclusion. We've been walking a lot, and it's now 7. At this time of night, our destination should give us the best view. A strong wind. The tallest building in Shinto. The view from the rooftop of this building is a fitting end for this day.
どう？ここなら見通しがいいでしょ、あーちゃん。
はあ、将来君と付き合う男に同情するな。よくもまあ、ここまで好き勝手連れ回してくれたものだ。
何か言った、あーちゃん。
素直な感想を少し。と、確かにいい場所だ。初めからここに来れば歩き回る必要もなかったのだが。
何言ってるのよ。確かに見晴らしはいいけど、ここからわかるのは街の前景だけじゃない。実際にその場に行かないと街の作りはわからないわ。
そうでもないが、アーチャーのクラスは伊達ではないぞ。旧兵は目が良くなければ務まらん。
そうなの？それじゃあここから家が見える？アーチャー。
いや、さすがに隣町までは見えない。せいぜい橋あたりまでだな。そこまでならタイルの数ぐらいは見て取れる。
嘘。タイルって橋のタイル？
That's not just good. His eyesight could match the telescope you find on these rooftops.
びっくり。アーチャーって本当にアーチャーなんだ。
That's like he said, you need that kind of eyesight to be even considered an archer, right? For the precision?
リン、まさかとは思うが、君、私をバカにしているんじゃないだろうな。
そんなわけないでしょ。たださ、あなたってアーチャーって言われには弓使いっぽくないから、つい勘違いしてただけ。
それは問題発言だ。帰ってから追及しよう。
It seems Archer has taken a liking to the view as he falls silent. He's probably working out the town's layout. I can't interrupt while he's surveying the battlefield. I leave Archer's side and move to the edge of the building. All I can see with my eyesight is the lights below this building, like the headlights of the cars in the street and the people going home after work. I can't tell what kinds of cars or what kinds of people they are. I can see them, but still not see them. Just like noticing someone is watching me before, but not being able to see the watcher.
少なくとも神道を根城にしているやつが一人いる。
I strain my eyes and stare below me. There are 7 masters in all. I still don't know who the masters are nor which servants they command. Right now, I assume all the masters are walking around town collecting information on other masters. Suddenly, I feel someone's eyes on me. There's no reaction from my command spell. I just feel someone's eyes on me.
下？
I look down. There are many people walking around on the road. Among them is a person. One person is looking up at me as if looking up at the moon. I can't tell for sure who it is. I can't tell for sure, but I still know who it is. It's surprising. What's he doing at this kind of time?
リン、敵を見つけたのか？
Archer calls out to me as if sensing my excitement.
別に。ただの知り合い。私たちには関係のない一般人よ。
I answer, unable to hide my irritation and leave the place where I was standing. There's no way he could have seen me from the ground. He must have been looking up at the building by coincidence. So it doesn't mean I was noticed. But still, I'm angry that I let him see me acting as a magus. By the time we get back to Miyama City, it's already past 9 o'clock. Unlike Shinto, Miyama City is an old residential district. No one walks around after 9, and the town grows as quiet as midnight.
こんなところね。街の作りは大体わかった？
ん？ああ、町のことならわかる。あとはおいおい掴んでいくさ。
I'm trying to remember something. I believe in Fate Zero when Saber was summoned to the world. She knew everything about it already. Like, isn't that how it works? Like every servant that is summoned to any timeline or century or whatnot, any world line for that matter, they'll be aware of the of the times, basically. So they know the location, the layout, everything. They know the trends, the styles, so on and so forth. Or and then again, this is also before Fate Zero came about too. But I don't know.
なら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
We climb the road up the gentle hill, and there's someone walking in front of us.
あれ、さくら？
This is bad. I don't want to see her right now.
リン、何を隠れている？
黙ってて。うん。あそこにいるの知り合いなのよ。今日は学校休んだし、あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
As I speak, I look at the figure ahead of us. On the road. There's the well-known first-year student. And a foreigner I don't know. They're talking about something. No, it seems the foreigner is talking to Sakura against her wishes.
リン、知り合いとは外国人の方か？
いいえ、知らない。この辺りは洋館が多いから、どっかよそから遊びに来てるんじゃない？
I say that much, then scold myself for being too soft where that girl is involved.
あ、じゃあ、あいつ人間？
さあ、実体はあるから人間なのだろう。少なくともサーバントではない。
そうよね。マスターでもないし、ただの血は喧嘩か。
Still, I know she's not the kind of girl to get into trouble with a guy.
二人とも言ったな。女は坂を登っていく。男は
The blonde guy goes down the road we came up.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。私はもう眠るけど、何か質問はある？
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断は正しいよ。今夜は魔力の回復を行うべきだろ
う。ええ。それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
Fatigue hits me hard once I walk into my room.
そうだ。眠る前にきれいに連絡しないと。
That annoying priest. He'll already be getting ready to call the substitute Magus. I don't really care about that, but he's my guardian, so I should at least do the right thing.
電話と。
I dialed the number. And soon the fake priest picks up.
きれい？私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから、正式にマスター登録お願い。
A brief silence. Kirei's silence has enough pressure to stress you out even over the phone.
いいだろう。ではどうする？一度こちらに顔を出さないか。君のご両親から預かっているものもある。君がマスターになった場合にのみ、成人前に伝えてほしいと頼まれているのだが。
Forgot how much I enjoy this voice actor. He has such a deep voice and it fits Kirei so much.
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。それじゃ気が向いたらお邪魔するからよろしく。
待てリン。マスターになったのなら。
I hang up, not hearing him out. Listening to Kirei's lecture while I'm tired won't help me recover my magical energy.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
All that's left is to sleep. When I wake up next, it should be a completely different morning. 10 years ago, the Holy Grail War in which my father competed as a master and was defeated. Now, I'm entering that same battle. The second. So, after breakfast, I clearly explained my immediate plans.
何？学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら、あーちゃん。
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Archer hesitates, but does not object. He must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kinda tell without him saying so. Archer's sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward way. This is my conclusion. No, more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だろ。
I like even though they just met, he's so considerate of her and very, very protective of her already. And it's not just, you can tell it's not just because of the master-servant relationship. Like, he really trusts her after kind of getting a better understanding of her character.
そんなことはないけどね。いいあーちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思うけど。
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら私は従うだけだ。だが霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。まさか学校に行っている間はここに残れなどとは言うまい。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから頼りにしてるわ。
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜい期待に沿うとしよう。だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないって仮定？
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではないのか？
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂とあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つっていう家系は落ちぶれてるし、マスターにもなってないし。
マスターになっていないとどうしてわかる？
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
そうか。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょ
う。Well, let's not rule out any possibilities here, you know?
まあ今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどうする？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。わかった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。そんなこと絶対にありえないんだから。
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
Archer smiles dryly. Just that action makes me want to take it out on him, but if I did, I would be late for school.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。 もしそんなことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リン。
Look at the smug smirk on his face.
君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
As soon as we pass the school's main gate, we joke around like that. Around us are students heading to classrooms, and it's almost time for homeroom. In the crowd of people rushing into the school building, we stand dumbfounded.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない。
So Archer was right.
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う、リン？
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first-year student walking unsteadily. The student is carrying some stack of papers, and it looks like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、さくら。遠坂先輩。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで？久月先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。納得。久月は融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう、あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。なんか久月先生らしいですね。それ先生、ものを教える立場に間違いは許されないって人ですから。久月のは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。久月の堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。遠坂先輩、久月先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。そう？まあ確かに久月はもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. The balance between the two works so well that I think Kuzuki-sensei is a good disciplinarian. He used to stick in the carrot and stick approach.
まあ2年になればもっと久月と顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。 そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
何ですか先輩。
昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？
見てたんですか先輩。
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、
Ah, so she ran away.
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。
いえ、構いません。ここまででいいです先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。
そう？それじゃあまたね。
I passed the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to my classroom, I pause.
さくら、最近はどう？
はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。
そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
心配いりませんよ先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
If she says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and the night falls, there should be no one left in the school.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across a land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The boundary field laid out over our school is of that kind. It is not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magi, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is everyone in this school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is. I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people still in the school are me and Archer.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
An 8 stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. This purplish red character, only visible to Magi, is something I have never seen before, engraved with something unknown.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
The person who set up this boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think about the boundary field as bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came out onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of this boundary field. This boundary field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them. But the boundary field laid out over at this school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It is a blood fort that dissolves people within and claims the soul that seeps out. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one magus has ever understood the soul. Souls are only things to be investigated, or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them in a single place. It's because a magus is no use for them even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. So if there's a reason, it must be.
アーチャー、あなたたちってそういうもの？
I asked coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に食事は第二ないし第三要素となる。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
But Archer and Rin don't have to worry about that because Rin is already transferring her magical energy to Archer as we speak, so they're safe on that bet. And I'm pretty sure Archer would be against that to begin with. Yes. To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろう。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えばこの結界は効率がいい。
Archer is saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I'm going to choose.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、アーチャー。
I say so while staring at the mark. For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers.
同感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
I approach the mark and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down the Tosaka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Eliminate. Surgical extraction, second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but...
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？もったいねえ。
Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. On top of the water tower, in the sky 10 meters away, a guy is looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wild, and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend even in this situation.
これ、あなたの仕業？
いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
やっぱり、サーバント。
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな？
My spine freezes. A normal light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard. Scary enough to make me vomit. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is, but my reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
ほう、大したもんだ。 何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now. Now holds a red weapon 2 meters long. Uh-oh. I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on a rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushed me in a blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied.
いい足してるな、お嬢ちゃん。
The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me, to my sides. No, I won't make it.
エスイストグロース、エスイストクライム。
My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather, and I leap.
リン、
分かってる、任せて。
I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds until landing. No, that's too slow. He'll catch up.
フォックス、ゴッドエスアトラス。
アーチャー、着地任せた。
I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles to play to Archer's and my strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. You know, the fact that Rin can think of all this in the span of a couple of seconds, considering their situation right now, is impressive. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would see only a blur. But that's...
いや、本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
meaningless against the servant.
アーチャー。
At that moment, I step back. Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
へえ。
The man crooks his mouth.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me on the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me.
ランサーのサーバント。
いかにも。そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. The two counterfeit-colored knights are already watching for the other's clinching blow.
いいぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize I'm being stupid. Archer is just waiting for my word, my command.
アーチャー、
I talk to his back without approaching him.
手助けはしないわ。あなたの力、ここで見せて。
Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the red knight dashes forward. swirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches.
バカが
What meets him is a blue spear thrust. The dashing archers are raging wind, the responding spearhead is a divine wind. The sword is swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust of the high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters, the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward.
たわけ旧兵風情が接近戦を挑んだな
His temper is like a burning fire. Let me tell you guys, when I first played this game, this visual novel, I was so impressed with the effects that they were going with, especially the battle effects when it came to, because I didn't think it was possible to do something like this in a VN. Like, I thought I'd just be watching static pictures, and instead I'm seeing, like, I can pick, not only can I picture it, but the fact that I'm even seeing it in a visual novel like this is just wow, you know? Lancer closes in with each blow with no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close in to an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning.
嘘。
But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of his thrusts could be called the final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with the speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of a lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is in swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust certain to strike you is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of their approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. The advantage of a long weapon in this length and freedom of its range, once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is... The one in red stops. A nightmare like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. No, not just that. The thrust increases in speed and power without limit, and it becomes a final blow even for a servant. I feel like an announcer. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even space to breathe between them? Archer. Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runaway to launch an even more powerful attack. Holy crap. The raging continuous attack is only a repetition of that, but the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many times more than that. The heavy rain of lance pours with yet more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. It thrusts like a waterfall with no change in speed. What can Archer do as he is now in the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I will hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest ranked familiars called heroic spirits that the Holy Grail summons. So it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the Magus. Imagine perhaps a cat in boots, or a cute white bird, or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that are mere Magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. If not that, the summoning is harder, even that the ability of the servants surpasses that of the Magus. Servants themselves are beings above magic. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gain concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people existed in reality or only in stories. It is people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be, give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created, the greatest human people have created. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A Magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned, the most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call onto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element known as the Devil to take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. That form is their temporary name, and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that the heroic spirits may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role, it helps the spirit to take form. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Magus, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system. A summoning and contract with a heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition held only on this ground, the one, the only Holy Grail War. That was quite the exposition, by the way. A loud crash. The short sword that deflected Lancer's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique. A straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid even had he seen it coming. there is no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between a sword and a lance lies in defeating the enemy when he is at the wrong range.
間抜け
There's no hesitation in Lancer. His movement to push Archer's back stop. He must intend to end the match in a single instant. The stairs of the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. It can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, and heart. 3 shots are launched, any one a fatal blow. But the flash too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hands is a short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword like a hatchet. But the biggest difference is
チェ二刀使いか
a pair of swords. In his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other.
へん旧兵風情が剣士の真似事とはな
Lancer's lance flies. Whew, look at that. Love it. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say that he will not retreat anymore. No, that he will only advance from now on. The clashing sounds are like a well-orchestrated music. 2 steels clang against each other. The sparking clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the two is like a vacuum. It sucks in the air around them, and it seems like anything approaching them will be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant. But for me, looking on, it seems to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his swords as a shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown, and Archer loses his sword every time. But it's only for a moment as Archer has a sword in his hand in the next instant, forcing Lancer to back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his carelessness, that even though he doesn't know who is before him, he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was still slow compared to Lancer. The movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility.
?27 それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな
Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same way. According to Father, a servant carries only one weapon. Their weapon is filled with magical energy, so it's not something that can be created one after another like Archer was just doing. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the Holy Spirits. To put it another way, they are like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their Noble Phantasm. A Noble Phantasm is a weapon or armor the servant used when they were a hero, and it's treated as a last resort. The Noble Phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the Noble Phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer is using will show its power as a Noble Phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. A Noble Phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons which rule all over others and which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate their Noble Phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destruction in legend using their Noble Phantasm as a catalyst. Noble Phantasms are never disposable. The swords that Archer brought out must be excellent, but they cannot be his Noble Phantasm. He is the servant Archer, so the Noble Phantasm he conceals must be a bow.
どうしたランサー様子見とは君らしくないな先ほどの勢いはどこに行った
ちタヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか
Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer fought as a spearman, Archer fended him off as a swordsman, which means Archer hasn't shown any of his abilities yet. So it's natural for Lancer to feel ghastly.
いいぜ 聞いてやるよ。てめえどこの英雄だ？
The best one.
二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない。
そういう君は分かりやすいな。僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
At that instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Oh crap. Lancer's arm moves. This is different from before. A stance free from contempt. The spearhead is lowered as if to strike the ground, and only his stare pierces Archer.
ならば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lancer's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns fills the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hands is unmistakably a demonic one, and now it is waiting to take its true form in the moment it strikes.
まずい。
He'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer will be beaten. It's impossible. It's implausible since this is the first time I've felt such an intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will die when that lance is thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, even though I know what's going to happen, I can't even help him. Because if I move even a finger, that will trigger the attack. So if anything can stop this battle and stop Archer's defeat, it would be...
誰だ？
It would be the chance appearance of a stranger we all have overlooked. The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. The sounds of fleeing footsteps. That figure is definitely wearing a school uniform. Oh, someone was in the school too, huh?
生徒まだ学校に残ってたの？